If you need family transport and just don't want to jump on the more costly and less economical SUV bandwagon, then just get a normal large family car, because there are some stylish yet practical options out there.
But which did you choose between the new Peugeot 508, the Vauxhall Insignia Grand-sport, or recently revised Mazda 6? Look what we have here: red, white and blue. It's the colour of the British flag, or the French flag, or the Russian flag, the Australian flag, the USA flag. Yeah, anyway, I'm digressing. Let's go on with the review.
To help you decide which car is right for you, I'm going to compare their designs.
Kind of reminds me of a police car that's still waiting to have its blue and yellow livery applied.
Test the durability of their cabins.
That wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me, Peugeot, all right?
See how practical they are.
Ta-da!
And find out what they like to drive.
No idea what the front wheels are doing.
First though, let's look at how much these cars cost.
The Mazda 6 starts from around £23,000, the Vauxhall Insignia Grand-sport from £20,000, and the Peugeot 508 from £25,000, but the price that you pay at the dealer is what matters most. So click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen to see how much you can save on each of these cars through CarWow, and on average you're going to be able to save between £2,500 to £3,000 on each of them.
Overall though, the Vauxhall works out as the best value for money when you consider the amount of kit you get for so little money. But it doesn't exactly have the most curb appeal.
The Vauxhall Insignia Grand-sport looks all right. That's actually quite a decent compliment. And in all white, it kind of reminds me of a police car that's still waiting to have its blue and yellow livery applied.
There's no mistaking the Mazda for a cop car though. It's far too showy for that.
The 6 has quite a sporty look, and it really stands out, especially from the front, because you've got like chrome everywhere, this big grille, and if you get this optional Sol red paint, I mean, it's really, really distinctive. Apparently the paint is applied in a process called takamanuri. It's obviously a Japanese word, and it takes longer than applying normal paint, and it makes it 20% brighter, apparently.
But while the Mazda looks great, it's nothing compared to the beauty that has come out of the recent car design renaissance over in France.
I think Peugeot is one of the very best at car design at the moment. They have managed to make a normal, large family hatchback look cool. I like the way you can get different grille designs depending on which spec you get. You have frameless windows on the doors, and the backlights do this little dance like on a far more expensive Audi.
This premium feel for not such a premium price is a theme which continues inside the 508.
I love what Peugeot's done with the inside of this car. I mean, for me, it's super, super cool. Few words of warning though. While quality up here and where you are mainly going to touch is really very good, the plastics low down are some of the worst in any car. It's like classic Peugeot poor plastics. Then there's a small steering wheel with the instruments above. Some people ain't gonna like that. I do. I've got used to it over the years, but yeah, it can be a bit hard depending on how tall you are to see those dials. And finally, this gloss trim may look good, but you get flickering reflections in it, and it's dead easy to scratch. This one already, this is a new car, it's in a right old mess. That wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me, Peugeot, all right?
You do get the sense that Peugeot is a bit of a French tart. It looks great from a distance, but you get closer and you start to see the cracks. But that's not the case with our Japanese contender.
The Mazda 6 has quite a simple and elegant interior. It's very easy to use. This is the range-topping GT Sport Nav Plus. So it's got all the bells and whistles. This one's got the light-coloured seats and they really work. But I also like the fact that you get this suede effect up here on the dash and on the doors. You don't want to be doing that too much with it, because then you'll end up getting it all dirty from your fingers. Yeah, and it'd probably be hard to get that clean again. But the quality in here, considering it's not really that expensive, it's pretty blooming good.
Actually, it's a similar story with the Vauxhall.
Considering the price, this car is pretty nice inside. The layout is simple, the design's smart, quality of the materials easily good enough, and the kit that you get as standard is really impressive. For instance, these special seats have been designed by a bunch of back experts from Germany, Switzerland and Australia. They're designed to keep your spine as upright and as comfortable as possible. And it even has a massage function. Put that on for a bit and pretend I'm in a spa. Cue the whale music.
Really, if you like listening to music, then upgrade to the Bose system, as the Insignia's standard stereo is pretty lame. Thankfully, the rest of the infotainment system is very good, and all models come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, so there's no need to pay extra for satellite navigation. just use your Google Maps instead. You can do the same in the Peugeot, as it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard too, which is a good job as the factory sat-nav is quite fiddly. Also, it's annoying that you can only control the climate control system through the central touchscreen. But on the flip side, you do get a digital driver's display as standard on all 508s, which is great. And so too is the upgraded Vauxhall stereo, though the standard system isn't that bad either. The Mazda 6 actually has the best standard stereo, but you can upgrade to a Bose one, which is even better. The infotainment system, meanwhile, is okay, but it just feels the oldest, most clunky and dullest to look at. Also, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are an optional extra. Boo. However, it's a big yay for the Mazda when it comes to catering for rear passengers.
I'm more than happy in the back seats of this car. Really, really nice and comfortable. The seats in particular are lovely. I could do mile after mile in these things. Loads of room for my knees. Headroom's all right. People over 6 foot may find it a little bit tight, but kids, they don't love it. I also like this. Look, you've got posh airplane style folders in the seat backs. But you've got leather on the seat backs, which is quite unusual for this kind of car. Well done, Mazda.
But can the Vauxhall earn similar praise? Almost.
There's plenty of room here in the back of this Vauxhall, as you can see, especially knee room. There's so much of it. Slight thing that is odd though is headroom. So, like, if you lean back, you will hit your head against the back of the roof. But if you sit like this, it's absolutely fine. So it all depends on how you like to sit. Also, I should point out that I do find these seat backs just a little bit too upright to be really relaxing.
The Peugeot also has a few foibles which slightly impair its practicality.
For me, there's plenty of room here in the back of this Peugeot. There are a few things to note though. Headroom is a bit tight if you're over 6 foot. You will be hitting your head on the roof. Also, there's not much room in the footwell because the seats in front are quite low, so you can't really stretch out. And I think due to that sloping roof line, it does make it just feel a little bit dark back here.
Overall, the Peugeot has the least accommodating back seats, and it's the worst for carrying 3 people in the back at once, followed by the Mazda and then the Vauxhall, which is actually okay. It's also the easiest to fit a child seat in, thanks partly to flip-up ISOFIX covers which are dead easy to get at. The Mazda isn't too far behind, but the Peugeot is a bit of a faff, due to the smaller rear doors and the fact that the ISOFIX anchor points are hidden behind awkward zips in the cushions. But how does the Peugeot fare when it comes to carrying stuff instead of babies?
This 508 is all about trying to be posh, and that extends to the boot, because look, I have an electrically operated tailgate. Also, like on premium cars, there's a 2-piece load cover. Look at that. Obviously there's nowhere really to store it in the car. There is one thing that really annoys me about it though, this car. Look, if you want to fold down the seat backs, the actual catches are on the top of the rear seats and you can't reach them because of the way this is so sloping, so you have to go all the way round and do it from here.
Compared to the flashy 508, the sensible Insignia is more about function than form, but that doesn't mean it's devoid of nice touches.
I like how you open the Insignia's boot just by pressing the griffing badge. But on this one you do have to open it by yourself then. It's got a rather fat load cover. I mean, look how fat that is. So it will take up quite a bit of room inside the car. You can't put it under there because that's where the spare wheel is kept. But I really like this feature. Look, you have electrically operated rear seat backs. Just pull the button and they fold down nice and easy. Ta-da!
Unfortunately, the Mazda just can't compete with the Insignia nor the 508 for boot flexibility, for one key reason.
You've got a saloon boot, it's just not as practical as a hatchback. Though there is an estate version of this car if you do need to carry lots of stuff. You can fold down the rear seats though. Look, you pull these levers, but then you have to go in here, push the seat back down.
All this means the Mazda just isn't as easy to pack full of stuff as the other two, which are actually very closely matched for their low carrying capabilities. But can the 6 make up for this with how it feels on the road?
The Mazda 6 is a pretty nice car to drive, so the controls are good. I like the gear shift, although some people might find it a bit notchy. The brakes are really good as well. The weirdest thing though is the steering. It's just a bit odd and detached from the front wheels. You'd think it'd be more sporty because the rest of the Mazda driving experience is sort of sporty. So the car handles pretty well, though it's not the best handling here. It does start to run out of front end grip if you get a bit too carried away. For cruising it's good though. Seats are super comfy and it's generally quiet, and the engine is the best. This 2.2 litre diesel in this car is just, for a diesel, super smooth. And it's very punchy, and economy is good, getting almost 48 miles per gallon. If you get this car, get this engine. Just get it with 150 horsepower rather than the 180 that this one has. The Peugeot 508 may feel like the sportiest car to sit in, but actually to drive, ironically, it's actually the least sporty. Still, it does go around bends well enough. And anyway, this is the kind of car you're better off just cruising about in. It's reasonably comfortable, quiet speed. It's all right to drive around town, although the visibility is a bit bad towards the back. But it's easy enough to drive. And almost all models come with an automatic gearbox as standard. Engine-wise, they're all right. I mean, do lots of miles, get the 2 litre. The one in this car is doing 41 miles per gallon almost, which is okay. If you're not doing so many miles, I get the lower power version of the 1.6 litre petrol because it's quite a nice engine and easily has enough performance. You may be thinking that the Vauxhall is going to be the worst of the 3 cars to drive, and you'd be absolutely wrong. It's surprisingly good. This one actually has the adaptive suspension, and in comfort mode it's nice and soft over bumps. In sports mode you can throw it around some corners and it won't topple over. It's got all bases covered. My only complaint really is that the engine is just a little bit rough, and I'm only getting 32 miles per gallon from it. Not good for a 2 litre diesel really. Other than that though, it's a surprisingly capable and decent car to drive.
So then, where does all that leave us?
Well, if I was buying these cars with my heart, I'd go with the Peugeot because it's easily the best looking both outside and in, though it is rather expensive. And anyway, the Mazda is pretty good looking as well. The only problem with this is that being a saloon, it's not as practical as the other two. And that brings me on to the Vauxhall Insignia. You see, ultimately you're going to buy these cars with your head rather than your heart, and this one just makes the most sense. It's the best to drive, it's the most practical, and it's easily the best value. And that's why it wins this test.
Do you agree with my verdict? Let me know in the comments section. Also, please subscribe to this channel for more videos. And if you click on the deals box to the right, you can see how much you can save on a new car at CarWow. Or click on the video windows below to watch another of my videos.